Hi, welcome to LSB Features Radio Channel, where we keep great radio from the past alive. Today we're going to New York at Music Radio 77 WABC and Ron Lundy. Back in the 1960s into the 70s, WABC 77 was one of the most listened to radio stations in America. The music was tight, great programming, and some legends on air. Dan Ingram, Harison, Johnny Donovan, Scott Muni, Cousin Brucie, Chuck Leonard, and the voice heard on this Aircheck, Ron Lundy. Ron was a real unique air personality. Now, he wasn't really uber funny like Dan Ingram or super slick like George Michael or even really hip like Chuck Leonard. Ron was just friendly. He was your buddy. He was your friend on the radio, and he just sounded like he was having a good time doing what he was doing. Probably because he was. He stood out being a Southerner in New York City. So with that accent, there wasn't really anybody on the radio that sounded much like him in New York. He got to WABC in 1965 when his friend Dan Ingram helped him get the job, and he was right there to shut the radio station down in 1982 before the station switched to a talk radio format. Then he went over to WCBS-FM, where he spent many years holding down that midday shift, just like he did on WABC. If you like it, feel free to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel too if you like, and if you're ready, let's head back to the 1960s with Ron Lundy on 77 WABC, New York.
WABC chime time, 23 minutes before 3 o'clock, and good morning. Those the Rolling Stones. No Satisfaction. That's super hit number 18 from the WABC All-American Survey. These are the great sounds of American radio, WABC. And a good morning to you. This is Ron Lundy.
Hi, cousins. This is Bruce Morrow. Say, I want you all to get behind the community drive to get a badly needed swimming pool for the patients of Creedmoor Hospital in Queens. Now, I'm not asking you to send money, just trading stamps, any kind of premium stamps. You know, there are 500 little kids at Creedmoor. They can't go to the beach like other kids. Won't you help give them a pool? Just send any brand of trading stamps to Pool, Creedmoor Hospital, Queens Village, New York. The address is Pool, Creedmoor Hospital, Queens Village, New York.
Remember this solid gold one. 77 WABC.
Solid gold from 1961 on wonderful WABC. Bobby Vinton's great tune, Blue Velvet. Good morning. This is Ron Lundy on WABC, New York. Double the pleasure, double the prize on WABC. And remember now to jot down some of the names of people mentioned in the WABC newscast. Every time you have 7 names, you can mail them for our $1,000 weekly bond contest. A day later now on the Ron Lundy Show. You may be the big winner.
Hi, this is Dan Ingram with a tip for landlords who have a vacant apartment. Do you know that New York City pays a fee of $150 to $300 for an apartment listed with the Department of Relocation? It's payable when the apartment is rented by one of their tenants, and they have many who must move to make way for planned construction. To find out what standards your apartment must pass, just call the City Department of Relocation at 566-6470. That's 566-6470.
77 WABC.
Good morning. Good morning. This is Ron Lundy. Almost forgot it for a minute. This just isn't my night. Of course, I never have had my night, I don't believe. Herbot Scanders this morning. You'll be here at 6 o'clock to entertain on WABC. The hotline of hits is on Super Hit 77 WABC, New York. Papa!
Papa can love me. Hey, hey! Mama.
WABC chime time, 16 minutes before 3 o'clock. Good morning. This is Ron Lundy. More people win more on WABC. You may be the next one.
77 scores again.
WABC Sports Scoreboard this morning on the Ron Lundy Show. First in the National League, Houston 2. They took 2 over the Mets. Houston 4, New York Mets 3 in the first game. Houston 3, the Mets 2 in the second game. San Francisco and Philadelphia split a doubleheader tonight. San Francisco 2, Philadelphia 1 the first game in 11 innings. Philadelphia 2, San Francisco nothing in the second game. St. Louis 3, the Chicago Cubs nothing. Milwaukee 5, Cincinnati 3 in the first game. Milwaukee at Cincinnati, that was postponed for the second game. Los Angeles at Pittsburgh, also postponed on account of rain. Over in the American League, Baltimore took 2 from the Chicago White Sox. First game, Baltimore 4, the Sox nothing. Second game, Baltimore 7 and Chicago 2. Boston 2 over Washington tonight. Boston 4, Washington nothing in the first game. And also the Red Sox 8 and Washington 5 in the second game. Detroit 7, Minnesota 6. The Los Angeles Angels 1 and the Yankees nothing. And Cleveland, Kansas City split a doubleheader. Cleveland winning the first game 8-1. Kansas City taking the nightcap 3-2. The second game in 11 innings. From WABC, Sports Scoreboard on the Ron Lundy Show. Good morning from WABC in New York. Oh, we 5 woke up this morning. You were on my mind.
Well, I woke up this morning.
WABC chime time, 12 minutes before 3 o'clock, and good morning. Wednesday morning in New York. This is the 1st of September, 1965. The great Herb Oscar Anderson this morning at 6 o'clock, and it's so nice to have you here on the first night of the all-new Ron Lundy Show. We're going to get used to everything, and I tell you before it's over with, partner, we're going to have a party and a half.
WABC's weather break. Go, go!
I'm going, man. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm heading out there somewhere. Cloudy with occasional periods of rain. That'll be true this morning, becoming partly cloudy and a little cooler tonight. The high today in the mid to upper 70s, low tonight in the low 60s. Right now it's 64 WABC degrees in New York.
Anytime of that daytime on WABC.
Good morning from New York. So great to have you here on the Ron Lundy Show. Blap. Hey, the Navy has an urgent need for Naval Reserve officers and petty officers to volunteer for active duty. For information, visit the Reserve Center at Whitestone, Queens, or telephone Commander Gaffney. You remember him at Flushing 7. Check that. Flushing 94064. I've always had trouble with numbers. Never had any trouble with Barbara Lewis, so this is too tough to stay in the same room. Oh, what's your song, baby?
Baby, I'm yours.
WABC chime time, 8 minutes now before 3 o'clock. What a great sound that is, huh? Barbara Lewis and Baby, I'm Yours. The WABC All-American Super Hit Survey, Super Hit number 10 on the Ron Lundy Show. WABC degrees, 64 degrees. It's cloudy with rain reported in the area.
Hi, my name is Sammy Davis, Jr. I've just had a thrilling experience. I visited a number of police athletic league centers in some of the roughest areas in New York City. I saw boys and girls involved in sports, arts, class, music, dancing, 200,000 of them happily participating in the wholesome activities of youth. A million miles away from the horror and tragedies that we read about in the papers. PAL kids are good kids, interested more in self-improvement than welfare. That's why I'm here now to urge you and you and you to back these kids with your dollars. Your contribution is the only source of revenue for PAL centers. Please don't let them down. This golden boy would like to see every one of them have the golden opportunity for success that should be available for every American boy and girl. Send your contribution to the Police Athletic League, Box 333, New York 3, New York. Why not do it right now?
Win up to 1,000 a week with names in the news. Just jot down names in the news while you listen to WABC. To win huge prizes, just write down the names of anyone mentioned on WABC newscasts. Every time you have 7 different names, mail them on a postcard to Box 777, New York 23. That's all you have to do to win. Send another postcard every time you've collected 7 new names. If one of your correct cards is drawn, you win a $500 savings bond. Then we'll call you at your convenience, ask you a simple question about one of the names on your card. If you answer correctly, we'll double your prize to a $1,000 bond. Go for the big bonds. New contest every week. Jot down any names broadcast on WABC News. Every time you have 7 new names, mail another postcard to Box 777, New York 23. Include your phone number and mail your list of 7 names in the news to Box 777, New York 23.
Solid gold on the Ron Lundy Show. Come on, everybody. This is Tommy Rowe. a body, Tommy Rowe, a little solid gold on WABC on the Ron Lundy Show. Good morning. WABC News is next. Remember now to jot down some of the names of people mentioned in the WABC newscast. Every time you have 7 names, you can mail them in for our $1,000 weekly bond contest. Details later on our show, the Ron Lundy Show. Don't you dare go away. Got the Supremes, Bob Dylan, Solid Gold by the Animals, and Sonny and Cher, all coming up on WABC's Ron Lundy Show.
It's 2:55. This is Reed Upton with news 5 minutes sooner from WABC Radio. Gemini 5 co-pilot Charles Conrad Jr. will be promoted to full commander in the Navy under a new policy approved by President Johnson. The policy provides that astronauts up to rank of lieutenant colonel or commander will receive a promotion of 1 grade after their first successful space flight. It also standardizes criteria for decorations for the astronaut. Gemini 5 pilot L. Gordon Cooper Jr. will receive a cluster on his Space Agency Exceptional Service Medal for his most recent flight. He was promoted to lieutenant colonel for his first venture into space during the Mercury program. A U.S. spokesman in Hong Kong says a U.S. military plane with 9 men aboard has been missing for more than 24 hours. It's presumed down in the South China Sea. The C-123 took off from South Vietnam yesterday morning with fuel for only 11 hours. It was last heard from near the Philippines. Air-Sea rescue units are reported searching the area at this hour. 3 American servicemen and a Vietnamese woman have been wounded. They were wounded last night when a grenade exploded on a Saigon street. The grenade was thrown into a group of 4 servicemen waiting on a street for transportation. The United States reportedly intends to start carrying out a new kind of bombing raid on North Vietnam. Sources in Saigon say planes are expected to begin dropping candies and toys to the children living in the communist country. Psychological warfare experts say toys and candy are ideal for this purpose. They are luxuries that the average North Vietnamese almost never sees. 40 persons reported injured in a severe earthquake that struck eastern Turkey yesterday. More than 200 homes reported destroyed in 12 villages. The Dominican rebels and the Organization of American States have signed an agreement to establish a provisional government in the Dominican Republic. This is a first step toward restoring constitutional order. Hector Garcia Godoy will be installed Friday as president of the interim regime. The civilian military junta resigned Monday night rather than block installation of the provisional government. The resignation is effective upon the swearing in of the new government. Gunfire touched off a brief free-for-all between Negroes and whites in Plymouth, North Carolina last night after civil rights leaders postponed a scheduled demonstration. Police say that 1 white man was shot in the abdomen, another was cut by a knife. The shooting occurred when a group of white men moved in behind some Negroes. Police say 1 Negro pulled a gun and began firing wildly at the white men.